That's not the right banner. Hey guys. Okay, I didn't shut down my 1500 screen, so you'll have to tell me if it's jumpy or if the sound or the audio is bad. Oh, it looks bad on my phone. I thought I'd pull up my my chat to because I can get your comments faster that way than if I wait on StreamYard. All right. I will shut down a few things just to see. I always have so much open, it's ridiculous. Because I'm always working on a lot of different things. Okay, so I'll give you guys a couple minutes, but I will pull something up that I was going to reference anyway. Okay, I gotta say, the show the other night with Bill was fun. Good job, Bill. Not that you need to know that, but okay, Bill. But that was fun. I thought it went really well. Okay, I'm looking for something here. Yeah, it was long. It was a lot longer than I thought I ever intended it to be. But the thing is, it just ended up being really good conversation even after Bill went to bed. Great Informer was awesome too. He, you know, I've seen him in a lot of different chats, but I'd never seen beyond kind of the one-liner side of him. And getting to see, man, talk about a polite, nice guy, informative. I don't know, I just really enjoyed him. So that was great. Okay, I'm looking for something that I'm not finding now. Okay. Hey, you are more than welcome to come on, KK. I was, hold on, I think I might have it here. Okay. Hang on a second. I should have pulled this up before now. All right. So, first thing I was going to touch on something really quickly, the haters thing. So, you guys know my pedophilia, um, series that I did or whatever. And I got a comment yesterday or something on it that said, this is on the final thoughts part. And it said, "This is sadly bigoted. It is a delusion to conflate pedophilia with homosexuality. You're going to be called a hater," because in the video I had referenced the fact that, we need to stand up and we need to speak truth. We're going to be called haters. We're going to be called all sorts of names, right? So that's what they were referring to. You're going to be called a hater because this part of your argument is hateful. Okay. First of all, that's a great comment. Um, you know, not rude, not, you know, not overly emotional. So I appreciate that. I can totally appreciate comments like that. Um, that doesn't, that doesn't bother me. And it gives opportunity for conversation, right? Oops. So, oh my goodness. Okay. It looks like YouTube got rid of my reply to that comment. Oh my goodness. Okay. YouTube has been, I mean, I know we were talking about this on KK's stream, but YouTube has been being a little pain in the rear. Okay. Well, so basically, I said a lot. Basically, what I said was the fact is that homosexuality and pedophilia, those two communities or camps, um, were one camp to, for the longest time. It wasn't until the 70s that they separated out. Um, and it's also a fact that the arguments that the homosexual community used to become more accepted um, are the same arguments that we're hearing now from the pedophilia community. I also said that I don't, I don't have any statistics on it, but um, I assume that most homosexuals would not support pedophilia. Okay, I don't have any, like I said, I don't have any hard facts on that, but that's my assumption. I'm assuming the best on that. And in fact, and I said, hey, Robert Wallace, and I said, either in another part of that series or at another time, I can't remember now, I talked about how the homosexual community is actually warning kids now. They're putting out warnings like on Twitter and stuff because the pedophile community has started to co-opt that the idea of the rainbow flag. It's not exactly the same. It's rainbow flag, but I can't remember if it's pastels or I don't remember the difference right now. But it's slightly different, but it's still a rainbow flag. And um, and so you have the homosexual community coming out on Twitter and things like that, warning kids, hey, if you see this flag, that actually means, pedophilia, and you need to stay away from that. So, so from everything that I can see at this point, the I'm just going to assume the best and assume that most homosexuals um, are not in support of pedophilia. Um, so that's the thing is those things are all historical fact. They all exist. You can research them. I researched them. Um, that's where that comes from. Because I am recognizing fact, um, because I'm recognizing those things does not mean that I'm being hateful. And because I disagree, and that's the thing is I'm not going to say that I agree with homosexuality either. Um, but see, I was wondering about that. I'll try to shut down a few more things, Robert Nozawa. There is a version of the rainbow flag KK that is for pedophiles. Well, um, minor attracted persons, right? MAPS. Um, so, okay, is it still jumping? Hold on. Let me shut down a few more things and see if I can get it better for you. Okay. I may have just booted myself from my own stream while I was shutting things down. Hello, born in the USA. This is a conservative place. So sorry about that. Um, I was trying to shut some things down to make it a little less jumpy, but apparently I shut um, my own screen down. So sorry about that. But welcome. Uh, so yes, KK. And again, I'm calling them pedophiles, which is true to a degree. But minor attracted persons, right? That's the term they're liking to use now, right? So they do have a rainbow flag that is it's just slightly different. It's not. I think it might be pastel, if I remember correctly. I'd have to look back on Twitter for that, um, but it's really closely related to the alphabet community flag. And so that's why the alphabet community is coming out, at least the homosexual part of it, um, and warning kids, watch out for this flag because it's not, you know, the alphabet community, it's the map community. So yeah, so you can watch for that. And there are some examples on Twitter, or you could probably just Google it actually. You can't write your message. What do you mean write your message? I see your messages. Oh. um, you can't. Um, I don't know if I can from here. Hold on. I'm using StreamYard, so. Oh, I can put you on timeout though. Look at that. Hold on. I'd have to go. Okay, give me a minute. Let me um, let me see if I can do this in a different way. If I can get there. So anyway, hey, great informer. We were just talking about you. Hello, Chicho Mama. um, formerly known as Rainbow Warriors. Um, okay, so what I was saying, sorry, is that um, so I might, part of my comment, my reply, which is not showing up now, back to her or him, I think it was a her, is that even if I do disagree with a choice, um, so I may not agree with homosexuality, um, but that doesn't make me a hater either. Um, just because I disagree with someone or something. So I pose a question. If you disagree with the way someone raises their kids, if you disagree with someone's faith or religion, um, if you disagree with, what else did I put on there? I don't remember what else I asked, but, but if you disagree with someone, then does that mean that you hate them? I would hope not. I don't hate anybody, um, but I can still disagree. I can still not like something that they do, um, and that's our biggest issue, right? Um, is the inability to be able to disagree and not be deemed as a hater or an ism. Okay, born in the USA. Hang on a second. I have to open it up this way. See if I can. Okay, I'm adding you. If you get me into trouble, I'm kicking you in the butt. You don't hate that I don't hate everybody? Well, I appreciate that. Thanks. um, yeah, KK, hate the sin, love the person, right? And that's the thing, we've had this. How many accounts do you have, Born? um, we have this thing, right, where um, okay. Um, when someone sasses you, as long as you don't sass yourself, then that gets a little nuts. Um, okay, so anyway, we have sorry, so totally distracted. Um, okay. So I'll go back to the trans suicide rate, right? Um, I think it's actually hateful to not desire to really look into that, right? Um, the alphabet community wants to ignore the fact that it could be, or the option that the suicide rate could be due to the fact that, by going through this transition or by um, doing, how much ever they've done to their body, um, that is not because, I'm sorry. I am so distracted. I'm so sorry. Okay, so born in the USA, that's one of the things is that um, pedos or MAPS, minor attracted persons, are trying to say, um, or people are trying to say that they are that that's just another orientation, like homosexuality, or because that's what they've said with homosexuality, right? Sexual orientation. Um, sorry. So anyway, I don't hate, and I think that we need to be able to disagree with people without without being considered haters, or without people assuming that we hate people because we disagree with them. Um, disagreeing is um, uh, disagreeing is disagreeing. We can do that. Now, again, back to that message. I appreciate that they were pretty respectful when they called me a hater. um, so anyway, I know I've been kind of jumping all over the place. I apologize about that. So if you guys have anything you want to add on that, please feel free. Again, this is why this is so important, because this is where we have to be very careful about where our society is going, where it is now, where it's going, is being able to disagree, right? Have free speech, disagree, and actually have a conversation about that. I should be able to have conversation, be able to walk away from someone and say, yeah, I still disagree with your lifestyle. They might disagree with my lifestyle. They might disagree with the fact that I, don't like their lifestyle, and that's fine. But we should still be able to laugh together. We should still be able to work through other issues together, have conversation. So that's it. um, what's MAM? Great Informer. MAPS is minor attracted persons. What is MAM? I'm not sure what you're referring to. They're attacking the first and second, because the rest will fall if you get rid of those two. Yeah, and Born in the USA, yeah. It's like when Alyssa Milano said, hey, we should stop having sex with conservative guys. Really? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, such a loss. Um, but anyway, yeah, they really are the First and the Second Amendment. So that was part of the random. I had three things I wanted to touch on here. One was the hater thing, the random news pieces. Oh, I'm not sure that. Thank you, KK. I'm not sure if that's what. Is what the trans person told the GameStop employee. They said it's ma'am. Oh, because they corrected their gender reference, or whatever you would call it. That's not really a pronoun, but yeah, silly. Um, okay, so yeah, so part of the random um, news stuff that's been going on, right? So we've got Virginia that is attacking the Second Amendment. And then we've got New Jersey, on the other hand, that is coming out, and they have a gun sanctuary city. Did you guys hear about that? They've created a gun safe sanctuary city. I don't remember how specifically they're saying it. I identify as a squirrel. Okay, okay. That's funny. Okay. Oh my goodness. Um, y'all have me cracking up. Oh, hey, the poor conservative. How are you? It's okay, West Milford Township, New Jersey. Thank you. I just saw that on Sandra Ann's um, stream today, or on her upload today, um, which is so cool. Talk about one of those things, right? A moment where you go, okay, not everywhere has completely lost their minds, right? There's still some common sense, and there's still some fight somewhere, right? Um, and and not just, I mean in leadership, right? Because um, you can have us sitting here talking about this, right? But having politicians that are running these cities and states and whatever else who are completely out of their minds. I identify as a billionaire. Great informer. That's nice. Does that mean you just get to walk into places and smile and they give you stuff because they'll put it on your tab, or they know you can pay for it later or something? um, yes. So anyway, that was the news about Virginia. Not so great, and frustrating. And I was hearing from someone else in another chat today, earlier, just a little bit ago, uh, who lives there, who said um, it's getting tense there. So that's interesting. Um, I don't know how, I mean, I just hope 2020 we clean house everywhere, on every level, that across the board it's, a serious mandate that says we don't want this stuff anymore, right? Um, because you're right, freedom of speech, um, anti-vaxxers being called TERRORISTs. um, I had that video where I talked about in Massachusetts not being able to call someone the B word. Um, that there was a um, state congressperson who was presenting that um, as a bill. I don't know if it passed or not. Obviously, you have in New York City the um, idea of illegal alien being illegal to use, at least under certain circumstances, like housing, um, including hotel um, places, employment places, uh, police. So at least amongst those guys. Great Informer. What's more disturbing is the response from the National Guard in Virginia. They said they would not rule out one way or the other. I wonder if the globalists have those generals under their payroll. They wouldn't rule out one way or the other. Explain that to me. George Soros identifies as Angela Merkel. Maybe that's why she's shaking. Um, I identify as a Russian. I love Hillary. You're too funny. Um, Okay, what else was I gonna talk? Oh, okay. So anyway, let me just finish up here. I just hope that I hope things in Virginia calm down. That um, that the response is so overwhelming that the Dems back off. I am really excited and so very surprised to see New Jersey's response to that, or at least that city in New Jersey where poor conservative is the one who told me that, right? West Milford Township in New Jersey, which is just awesome. And um, I'd love to see that kind of take hold, and other places do that. So, for example, when places started passing, like Georgia and stuff like that, started passing the idea of um, abortions, like the 6 week mark on abortions, right? And how for a minute there was a domino effect where 2 to 3, was it 3 states eventually um, had some sort of bill that came out, or some sort of law that came out, that was around that 5 to 6 week mark for abortions. I'd love to see this kind of take hold too, and for others to stand up and go, oh, we're going to do that as well. I know that in Washington State, a year ago, November, we had kind of a red flag law passed here that really made it one of those situations where you could call the authorities, um, on your neighbor or on your family member, and that includes an ex, to tell them that that person owns firearms, and you were nervous about it, or whatever, right? And they would, and it really put people at risk of having not only their firearms taken, but um, being detained, and even psychiatrically detained. So we had a um, we had a couple of sheriffs come out and say that they were not in their areas. They were not going to abide by that, and so I was very happy to see that. So hopefully others will look at this town in New Jersey and jump on that and say, yes, that's what we're going to do as well. Um, okay, let me see. Let me catch up with y'all. Oh, that's a bright light. Um, thank you. We need to probe the deep state. Born in the USA, that's easier said than done. The deep state goes back to the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, who were the early founding fathers of the globalist movement. How is no one angry at you yet? Normally I get a warning. Oh, Bill's here. He was just busy doing something, so he wasn't going to be typing much, I don't think. Okay, talking about Virginia using the National Guard to put down 2A sanctuaries. Really? Hmm. Um, sorry. It's really distracting because the StreamYard stream is so far behind, and the chat is behind but that's why I pulled it up on my phone. So I'm trying to catch up here. That would be a tough position to be the National Guard and be asked to do that because I mean if they're being ordered to do that, but on the other hand, it's not a constitutional um, order, if that makes sense. Sorry, I feel like I'm really babbling tonight. I apologize. Great Informer says the poor conservative, I doubt it'll happen. However, they need to stay vigilant in Virginia, and conservatives need to continue to put the pressure and resist at every turn. And that is so right. And that's exactly what needs to be happening on all fronts. We really are at a point where we cannot let anything else go. We cannot sit idly by, and we can't continue to be the frog in the boiling water, right? I know I use that analogy a lot, but um, we've sat silently. We've allowed things for way too long. Um, honestly, back with the sexual revolution, um, people should have been kind of up in arms. There's so many spots along the way, um, and we've just let way too much go. So yes, we need to fight, stay vigilant, and really have our voices heard. And that's one of the things is with we've talked about this before too. This idea that um, I'll call them the alpha community, even though originally it was just homosexuals, right? But this idea that the oh hey God's Glory TV, um, thank you and welcome. Um, that's the thing is that I just completely lost my train of thought. I feel totally like Bill right now. What was I saying? um, okay, so anyway, uh, we we just let too many things go, and we haven't stood up. Oh, with the outlet community, the idea of how is it that 3%, 4% between now it's between 5 and 7%, but certainly I can remember when we were talking about 3% of the population. 3% of the population was pushing for um, and really was being the rudder of the ship, right? And steering this ship because they were being the loud ones, right? Everybody else was being quiet. And so we are much more than 3%. We are much more than the 5 to 7% that is steering things right now. And so we need to make sure we. Oh, good night, Dee Dee. Love you. We need to make sure that we are making our voices heard, and if we do it in um, in full power, right? If we have 50% of the population or more, I would guess more, standing up and making our voices heard and fighting these things. I mean, we're talking about Virginia, but it affects us all because once once one area falls, then the potential for a domino effect, the potential for a ripple effect um, is so much greater. So even if it's Virginia and I live all the way across the country, I need to be concerned. I need to care. I need to make my voice heard, even though it has to do with Virginia. That makes sense. Okay. Rafa Dazawa. Born in the USA, your neighbor's a cop. Can you call on him? I'm not sure what you're trying to call on him for. And I'm hoping you're not saying you don't trust him because he's black. Um, okay, so I just actually got in a Twitter conversation with someone the other day because I'm sorry, Born in the USA, I don't know you well enough yet to know how to take all of your comments. So just explain them to me. It's okay. Um, but I got in this Twitter conversation with somebody the other day because there's been a few there's been a few videos coming out, and the one that's most recent, although there have been a couple that have come out regarding events that have happened over the last few months to a year or so. But um, the one, well, I guess the one with the boy on the school bus recently, who was beat up by, I've heard varying numbers, 3 girls, 2 boys, 2 girls, 3 boys. I've heard up to 8 kids. Um, okay. um, and so, uh, and it was because he, had worn a Trump hat. And apparently he had worn a Trump hat the week before and had been being harassed. And so he took it off and he hadn't worn it again, but they had continued to harass him. And so earlier that day, they had poured milk over his head at lunch, and they and they and then the video that you saw, or at least it was 20 seconds of the incident. Apparently there's a lot more to it, but and then he ended up in the hospital. So for those who don't know, it was a situation of a white boy, and all of his assailants were black. So oh, and there was that one from last year with the chick who just beat the crap out of that boy with a dustpan, like a janitor's dustpan on the stick. Um, uh, okay, Born in the USA. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for coming. You kept things lively in chat. Um, so anyway, uh, the point is, and the reason that is happening is because of ideas, right? Disagreeing with ideas. Um, and that's where we really need to be concerned. We need to be concerned that someone can't, hello, Aunt 703. We need to be concerned that someone can't wear a Trump hat um, or express conservative values or views um, without a violent response. And I know people can. I mean, my goodness, my son walks around, and we live in South County. So um, we live in the south part of a county that is fairly liberal. Um, and then right across the county line, kind of South County, and then right across the county line, it becomes more conservative. It doesn't now. There's still plenty of liberals here, so it's made me a little bit nervous to have my son walking around all the time with, well, the 2 Trump hats that I have bought him. um, I bought him one earlier this year. No, last year. Last year when I was in DC, and then I bought him another one for the 2020 election just recently, and or over the summer, I guess. So I've bought them for him, but knowing what people are dealing with, um, especially where we live. It can go either way. Thankfully, yes, KK, I love you. Sleep well and have fun with your. I was gonna say baby girl, your baby grand girl, in the morning. Um, but it's made me a little bit nervous. Thankfully, so far, all he has gotten um, are people stopping him and saying, "Hey, I love your hat," and so that's been awesome. Um, he also has a um, stars and stripes sweatshirt. It's kind of like mine, except mine's monochrome and his is red, white, and blue. Um, but this idea that, well, it's just happening more and more, right? The level of violence, it's not even just comments, but actual violent responses. People coming out of Trump rallies and being assaulted and whatever else. And so anyway, on Twitter, somebody made a comment in response to that video, um, calling the kids a name, the black kids a name. And I can't remember what it was because it's not something I'm really used to hearing, but it can be taken as a racial slur. So, my biggest concern racially with that circumstance is just that it wouldn't be treated differently than if the roles were reversed. Um, the the black assailants need to be treated um, in the same way. They need to be punished in the same way than if it were, white assailants. We just had that shooting up in the Northeast. Where was that? Sorry, I don't have any notes on these things. These are just random things from my brain. Where the terrorists were black, and so and the victims were white. So you're not hearing anything about that, right? And so anyway, that's where race comes in, is in the response to this. But the actual event itself isn't about race. The actual event is about ideas, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, right? Um, and the ability to express your political ideologies, your support um, for a politician of either side without, you know, being violently responded to. Um, so in the initial act, it's not about race. Where it can become about race is in the response. And so my biggest thing is, again, treat them the same way you would if the assailants had been white and the victim had been black. Should be the exact same punishment, the exact same response. But anyway, on Twitter we had this person who called this racial slur, I think is what it was. And six string, hey. And then um, and then this young black lady got on in response to that, and she made a comment like, "See, this is why we." Like, see, this is why we hate y'all, or something like that. And let me see what she said. Oh, not hate. She used don't like. And this is why we don't like y'all. In no way do I agree with this video either, but come on now. Oh, okay. The guy had said they're called monkeys for a reason. Okay. So here's the thing. I believe in calling them animals based on their behavior. If their behavior is like that of animals, okay. But I understand that calling them monkeys can be a racial slur. Um, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I believe that's the case. And that's what the young lady was responding to. And so I said, don't like y'all. That's the problem. How is you not liking an entire group of people better than what he just said? Neither is okay, but the attitude that we're all alike is why people feel justified to behave like animals. It paints us all as racists, deserving of such acts. And that's the thing is, if you're going to look at someone as hateful, if you're a group of people as hateful, as racist, if you're going to buy into all these is and isms, then if someone is an ister and ism, then it's easier to justify that they deserve this kind of treatment. And that's just not the case. Go back to what I tell my kids all the time. It doesn't matter what someone else does. It doesn't matter what someone else says. Your actions are your actions. They're your responsibility. How you respond. If you allow your emotions to rule your response, that's on you. That's not about them. So, and it needs to stop. If some guy is gonna, throw out some racial slur, then okay. We all need to say, you know what? Back off, dude. That's not okay. But it doesn't have to go into this, oh, see, that's why we don't like y'all. No, it's not a we and a y'all. We all need to be, oh gosh. Okay, Bill has asked me before, a couple of times actually, has asked me, where I'm from, or, my culture, history, or whatever. And I always tell him, I have no idea. I know my grandmother did some research, and I think I even have that research. She's given it to me, but I don't know. And I really don't care. Because I have never once thought of myself as anything other than an American. I don't care what color we are. I don't care that your ancestors came from X, Y, and Z. And I think that this idea of ancestral pride has been a tool to lead us to more and more division. Now, I could be wrong on that, but that's what it feels like to me, that it's just led us to more and more division. So the more proud of who I am, the more I have to separate myself from you. That's put a question mark on the end of that. That's a question, because that's what it's feeling like a little bit. So anyway, ask me what I am. I have no idea. My skin is white. I come from somewhere with white people. But I don't care. I'm an American. I was born an American citizen, and God's will, I will die as an American citizen, unless something crazy happens and whatever. But okay, so we just need to start judging people on their actions, not on their skin color, not on their gender, not on, just judge people on their actions. If you're a jerk, you're a jerk. Okay, it's not because of your skin color. If you are kind, you're kind. and it's not because your skin color or your sex, your gender, whatever. Um, and again, as much as I might disagree with certain lifestyles or choices, as many people disagree with mine, it doesn't make someone a jerk or, doesn't specifically make them nice. So, um, okay, hold on. Six string. I know what POS is. I've learned that. I've had POC treat me less than proper at the stores lately. I just walk away. What's POC? Is it crap? Because I'm kind of going off the POS version of that. It's taken me a little while to learn that one. um, maybe I should. Oops. Yeah, explain that one to me. Six string. I mean, I guess if you can put that in chat. Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't, in some ways, I'm a little sheltered. um, okay, so that's the thing, right? And it shouldn't be. Um, Unfortunately, and not only, you know, POCs, new term for me, um, but women being raised up to believe that, they're the underclass and they've got to fight against the man to make their place in this world. Any uh, any subset of culture shouldn't be raised to believe that everybody else is against them or whatever. I think it's intentional. I think it's intentional. I believe it's a way to divide us. Um, it's perfect. Dividing us um, really has allowed um, whatever you want to say, the deep state. It's allowed the cabal. It's allowed um, certain. I mean, you might believe it's just Democrats, whatever. It's allowed us to be led down a path that, um, has allowed us to be led, honestly. By being divided, we have been allowed to be led, and that shouldn't be the case. Okay, hold on, I have to catch up with this. Who's already the laughing stock to the nation? Who will be the? Are you talking about the Dems? Um, I'll jump on that one. Okay, so hold on, let me grab my water. I left it on the floor, way over. Um, okay, so I'm going to open up. Okay, that's what I thought you might be talking about. Yeah, I mean, I believe so too, Johnny, but I will repeat this over and over and over. But, I hang out a lot with you people, right? Kind of my people. So, the thing that I want to be very careful about is that I'm not in such a bubble where I think that there are so many people who are awake. There are so many people who truly understand that I get complacent. And I believe that more people understand than really do. So we have to keep the pressure on. We have to keep fighting. I think Great Informer said that earlier. Um, we just can't let up because it's that important. would hate to look back and go, oh crap, if we had just tried a little bit harder, um, or look back and go, what in the world? How did we end up with, you know, Trump losing in 2020 because, none of us saw that coming because we all think it's a done deal because the Democrats are ridiculous. We just have to really make sure that we aren't treating that with, or as a given, I should say. Okay, so I am going to, for my last topic, I'm going to go ahead and open it up and put an invite to the stream if y'all want to jump on. We can have up to 6 people. But so the last topic, the impeachment has been kicked over to the Senate, and yes, voter fraud is an issue. I drove my neighbors to the food pantry, and afterwards I bought them lunch at McDonald's because they were POC ladies. I got horrible looks from a table of POC men. I was only helping these ladies. Is that because they thought you were? I know there can be this thing about, this other color man moving in on our women and stuff like that. I don't know, but I am sorry that you experienced that 6 string because, and you know what? You keep being you. You keep treating them well and with respect like you would anybody else. And I mean, hopefully those ladies walked away knowing, well, I mean, they're your neighbors, right? So they know you, they know your heart. But it is unfortunate. And that is definitely something that we need to fight, which also means that we all need to speak up. If we're white and we hear a white that says something like on that YouTube comment where the guy called them monkeys or whatever, or we need to speak up and say, no, that's not okay. If we're Black and there's a comment made about whites or whatever, then that, they need to speak up and say something. You know, the same thing, men and women, and all of that, right? I'm sorry, sore. Hang on just a second. Try not to be rude here. Well, that's good. Oh, I'm glad 6 string because again, they know you, and that's the thing. We can't allow. Okay, so my response to that lady on Twitter, we went back and forth a few times, but I said, my goal is not to attack. It's to ask you to stand with me against these acts of violence, which are happening more and more, and against those who respond to it based on color, including those who call the kids race-related slurs and who refuse to treat this as if the races were reversed. That's the thing. We can't get so frustrated. And I have felt that frustration. In seeing these videos, I have been outraged. And a huge part of my outrage has come at this thought that the Black kids were going to be protected from, sorry, I'm making y'all sick probably, but that the Black kids were going to be protected from consequences simply because of their color, because unfortunately that's what's been happening lately. And but I have to be careful to make sure that I'm not turning that into being rude um, in a racial way, right? Because half the time it's white liberals who are making those choices. Honestly, um, anyway, I'm babbling now. I apologize. Okay, so I think voter fraud happened in 2016. There's no way Hillary won the popular vote. It was fraud. Um, and I'm glad they thought it was ridiculous, extreme. Yeah, I think there was voter fraud as well. I mean, if they do, well, we've still got one report coming out. We've got potentially whatever happens in the Senate, which we're going to talk about in a second. But I think that once we start digging into, or if all of this gets dug into, we're really going to see how much um, corruption, including, sorry, including in the elections, um, has been happening. You know, this huge narrative that Russia, 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 Russia. Sorry. This huge narrative about Russia, but as much um, evidence that has even just leaked out about Ukraine and their involvement in the that sounds great, great informer. I appreciate you coming. Love you. Have a good night. Um, but the what was I saying? Oh, the way that Democrats continue to um, shout about Russia from the rooftops, even though there was the amount of evidence that really came out about that was very little, to the way that they are completely shutting down any thoughts about Ukraine's involvement, even though there's been um, evidence coming out to show that Ukraine did get involved in the 2016 election. But Dems are shutting that down in a heartbeat, not wanting to talk about that at all. It's all about Russia, Russia, Russia. And I think that when things are dug into, if they get dug into the way they should, if findings get released, um, I think we'll really find out how big of an impact there was on the 2016 elections, and really, you even have things like Facebook, and we're not even talking about foreign entities, right? But the impact that they had. There's been studies that have come out, and um, who's the guy that worked for Google that came out and was talking about how much they had impacted the 2016 election just through their algorithms and stuff. So there's a ton. I'm sorry, I'm shaking the table. There's a ton, um, and hopefully we will be able to overcome enough of the voter fraud. So, okay, so my question regarding the Senate and the impeachment going to the Senate. Mitch McConnell came out a couple of times. I heard him a couple of times talk about, well, hello, Sam. My goodness, you are up early in the morning. um, so Right, Johnny. I mean, and that's the thing. And so hopefully, right? Hopefully, we're not done with that. Hopefully, there will be more uncovering. Hopefully, there will be. I mean, we have all these, what, 125,000 or something indictments, sealed indictments at this point. Um, so hopefully, we're not done with that. But in the Senate, so Mitch McConnell has come out and said um, that this is going to be quick. We're going to get this over with quickly. Um, this is going to die down. So here's my question. Should we do it quickly? Or should there be a full-on, in-depth investigation hearing done in the Senate? What do you think? Because I've thought about this, and there are some pluses and minuses. One is that there is real impeachment fatigue happening in our country. People are done. They want it to be over. They don't want to hear about it anymore, and all of that. Two, we have already spent so much money. There's been so much money poured into the investigations, impeachment, all of this already, right? Millions and millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars poured into this. And so there's that. The longer it takes, the more taxpayer dollars it takes as well. So you've got impeachment fatigue, people being really tired of it, and if the Republicans do a thorough job in the Senate, then they run the risk of riding that impeachment fatigue train into the ground. Two, they run the risk of people being upset at the fact that they are spending all of this money, continuing to spend all of this money, and not doing the other things that we need to be doing. Although I have to admit, I've always been one to say that we should keep them on vacation because at that point they can't do anything. So go after the stupid, crooked Democrats. They're losers with no morals and no credibility. They started the fight, and we're going to finish it. No one walks away. What's the punishment for treason and sedition? Let the punishment fit the crime. Let the guilty be wind chimes and wind socks. See, I tend to kind of lean toward what I think you guys are saying. I would actually really like to see a full-on hearing. I'd like to see them call Schiff, though he won't go. I'd like to see them be able to call all the witnesses that were down in the skiff that Adam Schiff wouldn't allow out of the basement. I'd like to be able to get to all of those testimonies, even if they're new. I'd like to be able to see them questioned. I'd like to be able to see the whistleblower brought and his ties and his interactions with Schiff and or Schiff's staff. I would like to have all of that brought out because it's truth. I'd like for truth to come out, and for now, how much of that will make it onto mainstream media? How much of that will actually be seen by people? besides people like Bill and I who sit there and like watch the hearings. We feed on the hearings. No sleep, no bathroom breaks. Let's just go. Um, you know, but I don't know. I think it's important to um, expose all of that. But I'm not. I am not. I'm I'm not a political operative, right? So someone who's a political operative might look at that and say, "Look, I understand that, but in the end, it will end up hurting us because then Republicans, us, okay, Republicans are the final party that are the ones dragging it out. And if the American public already has impeachment fatigue, then do the Republicans get saddled with um, continuing to drag it out? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to catch up with y'all. Expose these frauds. Money well spent. Robert Nazawa says. Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm kind of at. Sam is saying it depends on Trump's agenda. He's taking that party out permanently. So I think this is an opportunity to expose them further. Yeah, and it's interesting because I saw him, he was in some sort of press conference the other day, and they asked him about this very thing, what he wanted to see. And he said, um, at first he said, it was kind of interesting. He said, I'll do whatever I want to. And then he said, you know, it's really up to the Senate Republicans, and I'm good with whatever they decide. And it was interesting. So I don't know if he. I mean, I was going to say I don't know if he has a real opinion on it, but it's kind of hard to think that he doesn't have an opinion on something, and a strong opinion on something. So, but it was interesting because he is at least keeping it or playing it close to the vest, I think is how you say that. Um, Six string agrees. Sorry about us exposing them. Money well spent. Where we go one, we go all worldwide. Um, and that's important too because this really is a worldwide thing. Uh, the deep state, the corruption, the cabal. This is a worldwide issue. And I know, I'm sorry, Robert. Um, and there are patriots everywhere who are banding together in this as well. And it has a ripple effect. So what we do here, I think, does matter. It does have a ripple effect. Johnny O, Trump and the Republicans need to go after the accusers. Yeah. We the people have been lied to for decades. We've been robbed of opportunities. Oh. Robert, I just read your comment and you didn't even say the word. You just did the little emojis and it still made me yawn. If I was in Trump's shoes, I would punish them swiftly. Sam is saying, I caught that too. Trump ran on cleaning the DC swamp, and he has only 11 months left guaranteed to do so. Yeah, and I don't know how much is in the, what's the report that's left? All I can think of is Mueller and Horowitz, and those are the two that are already out. It's the, oh, heavens. What's the report we're waiting on? The y'all will come up with it. You know what I'm talking about. That last report. I don't know how much is coming out in that. But it sounds like we've been told that there's a lot more in that action is going to happen. The idea that it was not politically motivated is something that is, I think, being called out in that report. Oh, it was right on the tip of my tongue again. Durham. That's right. It's the Durham report. He has 11 months plus 4 years. Yes, but Sam is right in the sense that only guaranteed does he have 11 months. We have to keep pressing. We have to keep pushing to make sure that he gets that +4. I mean, my goodness, yeah, there's definitely a huge part of me that thinks it is in the bag for him, but just got to be vigilant. Trump has been preparing for this since JFK in Dallas and JFK Jr.'s. So sorry. Plane crash. I swear I'm the only YouTube host that sits here and yawns through my own stream. I bore myself. Yeah, there's a lot of stories about Trump and maybe that he was even raised to do this. You know what, Johnny? Oh, I don't actually drink coffee. I know. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I chocolate. That's my issue. I chocolate. So when my kids are being obnoxious, I'll tell them that they're driving me to chocolate. My daughter will say, "Do you need a beer, Mom?" Because she knows I don't. I mean, she knows I don't drink. And be like, yeah, some people are driven to drink. I'm driven to chocolate. Trump was groomed to be president by God himself. Well, you know, fair point, right? I do believe that that God is working through Trump and using Trump in his role. I've said it before. I do not believe Trump is a perfect man. I do not believe he is the um, um, the model of perfect Christianity or whatever. Hey, Duke, how are you? Um, but I do love him, and I do believe God is using him, and I believe that God uses imperfect people. So, um, and he's got to, right? Because we all suck. We are all imperfect. And so if he's going to use any of us, he's going to have to use imperfect people because that's what we are. So Duke, we were just talking about the impeachment going to the Senate and whether or not absolutely six string. Yeah, I mean that's some of the greatest. Well, I mean honestly, what I think it boils down to, and I've seen this in my own work, is that God does things in ways sometimes where no one else can take credit for it. And I think that's why it's so perfect that he uses, and in the Bible, when he used some of those imperfect men, you could see, oh wow, this is totally a God thing, right? Because that man, no way, right? Same thing. I think that, and like I said, in my own work, I've been able to look back and go, that was not me. God has done things in ways that nobody could take credit for it. I mean, it's impressive, right? Because we love to take credit for stuff. Um, and to be able to say, well, yeah, I worked, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. You know, this is all God. Um, Johnny O says that God has this sense of, sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That God does have a sense of humor, which is why he chose Trump. You know, it's true. Right? How many times in our own lives have we said, oh, we know God has a sense of humor because of whatever's going on in the moment? It confounds the wicked. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And again, I was talking to my daughter the other day, or some of my kids, or something. I don't know. I was talking to some people who live in my house. One of them was my daughter. But anyway, and talking about, right, the deception, the perfect deception, um, that Satan's first line of defense, his first, not even defense, his first line of offense, I guess I should say, is deception. And the best thing that he can do is to convince us, excuse me, that we're fine, that everything's good, whatever it is. If we're practicing some sort of religion that isn't a true relationship with him, if we are atheist or agnostic or whatever, um, the best thing that he can do is convince us that all is good and that we don't need to change anything, or we don't need to do anything. If we are convinced, or if we're not convinced, I should say, that we need God, then he's won. Because that's the thing, is that the Bible tells us that if we don't make a choice, then we're making a choice. So if you don't choose God, you are still choosing. And that concept can be used in plenty of other areas of life, right? We talk about the frustration of people staying home. I think Grid Informer was talking about this the other night, the idea of people staying home from the ballot box, right? Well, if you don't make a choice, you still are making a choice, right? So if you don't make a choice for Trump, then you are you're still making a choice because you're not providing that additional resistance to the other side, whoever the other side is at that point. Okay, I'm sorry, I just went completely way off. If Bill's still listening, I think he's rolling his eyes at me right now. Okay, so what else? I will, just in case, we have new people who have popped in, feel free to jump in and chat if you want. I love interactive chats, which is why I keep going back to the chat box. And if not, that's okay too. We can wrap it up here in a couple minutes as well. So, not see my tree. There's my tree. here the tree is a little um, unbalanced in places. It's not a perfectly shaped tree. Let's just say that. Um, but that's okay. It has lots of lights on it, which is what I like. My son does all the lights outside the house and all the lights on the tree. And I always want them to be closer together. Like, if the lights could be this close together, I think we generally put about 2,300 lights on the tree, because um, each layer is a set of white and a set of colors together. So, well, do know that you can actually come on here and not show yourself. So if anybody's concerned um, about being on screen, you can come in here on here and just have your audio and not show your video. What do Christmas lights and Epstein both have in common? Christmas lights and Epstein. They didn't kill themselves. I'm gonna go with the. They don't hang themselves. Oh my gosh. Okay, I was really close on that one, six string. That's awesome. I will have to remember that actually, since it's the Christmas season. I'll have to remember that one. What do Christmas lights and Epstein both have in common? They don't hang themselves. um, our mythical. Okay, hold on, because I jumped ahead to the shirtless. Oh, Robert, you can show yourself shirtless. I'm not as affected by that as Bill is apparently. So, um, okay, our mythical one of a kind POTUS taking our country back is for its people, patriots. Yeah, and that's what I was saying the other night too, is that I really feel like he truly understands the way this country was formed and the way it's supposed to be, um, for the people, by the people, right? Um, so I do believe that he is doing this for the people. I do believe he's doing this to get our country back in the hands of the people, which people don't like. Well, I mean, which certain people don't like. Yeah, I know. If Bill's not listening right now, you guys can tell later that I poked at him. All right. Okay, hang on. I gotta turn off this heater that's pointing at me because it's gonna make me melt. Hang on. Okay. Yeah. Actually, we went out to dinner earlier. My parents took us out, and it was to a restaurant that tends to be a little bit cooler. So I actually have a long john shirt under this because I didn't want to be cold in the restaurant. So now I'm sitting here in my house and had the heater pointed at me, and I'm like, oh, okay, get a little warm in here. No, I did not hear about that, Sam. The 6.8 earthquake in the Philippines. Also, the Ring of Fire is acting out. I had heard, I mean, just only like, I mean, even the last year, there has been more activity, from my understanding, around the Ring of Fire. If I'm um, remembering the Ring of Fire, just um, uh, around the Pacific, right? The areas around the Pacific. That's right, right? Um, I had not heard. When did that happen, Sam? Was that today? And are people okay? Has it caused tons of devastation? And I asked that because so we had a 6.2, 6.3 something here in 2001, and they were talking about the depth of the earthquake. We don't have a ton of earthquakes here, and so they were talking about the depth of the quake and how much damage and how much you feel based on the depth as well, not just the rating of it, like the 6.8, but how deep it is. So the deeper it is, the less you feel, the closer to the surface, the more you feel, I think. At least that's what I remember being explained back then. Um, oh, about an hour and a half ago, huh? Okay, the USA military is flying planes 3 to 4 days per week. Earthquake happened about 1.5 hours ago. Okay, so explain to me why the military is flying planes 3 or 4 days a week, and the Ring of Fire you're saying is acting out, and I was thinking that had to do with um, things like this, but I think I'm missing something. So you might have to explain to me um, the holes in my knowledge, that I understand why those are connected. Why is the military, wow, why is the military flying planes 3 to 4 days a week? Yeah, so explain to me. That'd be good. Because in a minute here, I'm gonna start drooling. Sorry. Apparently, I've lost my marbles. Okay, U.S. Air Force, U.S. IMD geothermal. Oh, six string. Okay. You are expecting a little much out of my knowledge here. Okay, the U.S. military are worried about possible eruptions from multiple locations. So it's just a matter of them monitoring. Is that what they're doing, Sam? They just want to be um, monitoring for eruptions. And six string, you're going to have to explain better for my brain. Sorry. Sorry, guys. I wish I knew more about this so that I could be a little bit more of the conversation, not have you explain every little bit to me. But I just don't know. Geothermal, is that where they are? Oh, haha, okay. I was almost there, six string. I was almost there. Okay. So that's kind of where they can see beneath the Earth. Robert. Yeah, the only difference is that he rarely ever looks at the chat. Okay, so plus 1,700 holes have opened up off coast of California. Really weird fish showing up on the west coast. Yes, a military keeping eyes on possible eruption. So do you know how long they've been flying? Oh, that's all I know. My son is in the Air Force. 1,700 holes have opened up off the coast of California. Is this where we're gonna have California fall off into the ocean? I mean, I know that sometimes we wish for that, but I've actually got some friends there. And we've got Pete the Patriot there. We've got California Critic there. Somebody else. Anyway, point is, there's some good people there. So hopefully, as much as I joke about California falling off into the ocean, you know, just kidding. Huh. So how long has this been going on, guys? Do you know? Because we've got Mount Rainier. Well, and St. Helens and stuff that can. I mean, Mount Rainier's always been questionable. And of course, Mount St. Helens has proven itself. So interesting. I'm going to have to look into that because I have a friend in Arizona who was talking about they had a lot of flight activity, but that's Arizona. So it seems like that'd be a little bit too far off for that. Yeah, I'll have to look into that some more because that's interesting. I hope all is good in the Philippines, and that it wasn't, very destructive. Again, I think 6.8 can be, and it, can be on the lighter side, maybe depending on how deep it is. But limited knowledge, guys. Sorry. Arizona will be oceanfront properties. No, I don't know how long, but recent. I think it's 1,700 holes, but I can be mistaken. I'm getting the impression the military is very worried. Yeah, see, six string. That's I'm a little concerned about. I mean, we do have friends that 21 states are involved with watch on possible soon eruptions. Well, my goodness, now it makes me want to look this stuff up because again, I'm sitting right here by some volcanoes that could choose to be pleasant if they wanted to. East of I-5. I am not east of I-5, actually. Isn't that bad that it took me a second to think about that? You know what? I am one of those people. Okay, I'm not stupid, but I am one of those people who the whole east north, south, east, west thing. It's like someone says, okay, get off the freeway and go east. And I'm like, seriously, can you not just say take a right? I know my right from my left. I don't always know where east is. Between their six string, actually. So I could go either way. Yeah, yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. Because I've not heard any of that lately. I might be getting tired because my speech is not behaving well with my brain. If you had east, you'd be in the Pacific. If I had west, I'll be in the Pacific. I do know that. It just takes me a second. Well, yeah, actually, you really would be, Robert, because you're right there. All you have to do is cross one road and you're in the Pacific. Takes me about an hour and a half, and that'll be in the Pacific. Unless apparently all this happens, then who knows? I might have oceanfront property here soon. Okay, I'm sorry. Now I'm just babbling. I'm sorry. If you guys are having a good time, that's great. But if you're like, come on, get to the point, I apologize. And we can. East is towards the land, west is towards the water. Have go bag ready in your car. Make sure you go east. It was covered by Mike Morales, Dutch Sense, and Marvel such site. Okay, I don't follow any of those. I'll have to look them up. I've heard of Mike Morales, but I oh, you guys, I've heard you guys refer, I think, to Marf or something like that before. But no, I haven't. I haven't seen them. I don't subscribe to them, so I'll have to look them up. Yeah, Joe. Hey, Joe. She pops in and out. Yeah, where are you gonna go though, Robert? There's not a whole lot of area to go, and at least you're not on the Big Island. Right? I am right about that. You're on Oahu, right? Okay, well, I will look that up and see. Maybe that's why my parents are going to Texas. They're just not telling me. They're like, we're out of here. We're gonna go to Texas and secede. Trying to have the mountains unless the mountains erupt. Because we can go up Mount Rainier, but then if Mount Rainier erupts, then we have an issue. Okay, well, I'll have to go look, especially at Mike Morales and Dutch Sense on the on tonight's coverage, just to see what I'm looking at. So, okay, so here's the thing. I know my streams have been going longer. I think part of it is because I feel like I don't know when the next time I'm going to come on. Between the fact that my parents are staying with us and I don't have my normal spot. Um, my woman cave is not my woman cave anymore right now. Um, and then um, and then I don't. So so okay, true confessions right here. Um, hair, contacts, and makeup. I don't always do those things. I mean, I've done some live streams with like glasses and my hair up in a ponytail, and even then, I tend to feel like I'm looking like a little bit of a slob. Um, but so sometimes I'm like, I only do all this um, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. Um, and so that's the other thing is I don't know. I feel like I should be, dressed. I mean, there are times when I'm in my pajamas. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going live. I'm in my PJs. So anyway, um, now I'm totally babbling. Way more information. my 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 filter is gone. So you're gonna have to stop me here. Sam, Mount Rainier is the one puffing out a lot of smoke. Um, I did a little bit ago. There was some talk about that, but again, I don't have um, regular TV here. Um, so as far as, and I'm not in the car a lot, so I don't hear a lot of news on the car. So unless somebody else tells me, I mean, my son tends to tell me a lot of stuff, but unless someone else tells me, um, then I don't. I'm on here. I'm listening to you guys and content creators on here, so I don't always hear that kind of stuff. Um, thank you, Six String and Robert. I'm not sure how my hair got to be such a topic of conversation, but um, yeah. Okay, I'm so totally lost. So I'll drink some water. Is it because I'm always playing with my hair? I don't know where Duncan is. Is that? I mean, because California is so huge, right? Um, uh-oh. Did y'all lose out? Okay. Yeah, I don't know where Duncan is. Um, oh, Northern. Okay. So did the ash travel as far as that? I don't think it did, but I know it traveled pretty far. Um, I showcase my hair. I don't even know what that means. Showcase. It just so okay. So another true confession here. Um, I have slight OCD tendencies, and so I brush my hair a lot, and it's not because of a vanity thing. Um, oh, good night, Joe. Love you. Love you, Joe. Um, it's not a vanity thing, but it's like I can feel tangles. So that's some of me messing with my hair is the fact that it's, I don't know, it's just the way it feels for me. So, in fact, I have a brush right here. A lot of times there's a brush not far from me because it just makes me feel better to have it brushed. So your hair is a little longer, huh? 6-string? That's funny. So 6-string gunner, is that because you are a guitar player? Is that because you are a guitar player and you were in the military? Or and are in the military? Oh, musician thing. The hair is a musician thing, or the title is the name is a musician thing. Why is it that I hang out with all these people who are so musically talented when I have no musical talent in my entire body? You're gonna have to post some videos. We love hanging out listening to good music and talented stuff. I just love. Gotcha. Nice. We won't tell anybody that 6-string. um, I hope a lot of them are unregistered. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, yeah, no, I will, Sam, because yeah, that we're definitely in an area where that would affect us. So I will definitely check that out. Oh, shit, I got caught up on my cords. Yeah, see, so apparently Duke is musically talented as well. Yeah. So it's you guys' job to just entertain me because I can't. I can't do that for myself. I would love to. I took piano lessons for a little bit when I was a kid, um, but I could never make reading music a quick thing for me. Um, oh, you know what, 6-string? I think I've heard you say that before too. Yeah, I'll have to remember that one as well. Um, but yeah, I could never. I mean, I can. I used to be in choir, and so I can follow the up and down, and I can do pretty well on that. But I'm not like that quickly reading the notes themselves. Um, so yeah, I gave up on the piano, and we didn't have a piano of our own in the house, and so that makes it more difficult as well when you have to go down to the community center or whatever and practice there. Yeah, I have a daughter who I think she would like to be musical, but oh, that's awesome, 6-string. That's very cool. You'll have to let us know when you come up out with that. My daughter would love to play guitar, um, but I don't know how. Um, I mean, as a parent, I don't know how to get everything done. I don't know how to have them in sports and schooling them and in in music lessons and you know doing the community service that they do and all those things with the time that we have. So some things had to go or had to give, I should say. Besides the fact that it's a money issue too, the amount of money it takes to do all of that. Um, so yeah, music kind of got the short end of the stick in this house. I'm sorry if that offends anybody. Wasn't intentional, it just was. Um, so how long will it take 6-string to to get through that process, or once it's copyrighted, then do you produce it, manufacture it? What do you do with a book? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm just laughing at myself now. Robert, I know you're probably just enjoying my the fact that I am so foggy tonight. Hey, the ukulele is cool. 8 weeks. Okay, cool. Yeah, you will have to keep us apprised to that. And you don't have, I am remembering this correctly, right? You don't have content on your publish. That's what it's called. Produce, manufacture, publish. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. So you don't like produce comment. You should play. You should play and upload videos of you playing on your channel. Yes, Sam, you're right. You're right. I do agree. We have to prioritize, and definitely clothed, fed, and sheltered are first steps. So yeah, we've spent a lot of years as well, kind of in some medical crises around here. I think 2013, starting in 2013, and okay, my fogginess is for a different reason, though, Robert, than either of those two boys. Yeah, so you know, we've dealt with my in-laws both were sick. Well, sick, kind of. Anyway, they ended up passing away, and there was a lot of medical stuff before that. My mother-in-law lived here for 2 years before she passed away. We had to build on for her to move in. There's been some other medical stuff that has gone on around here, so it's actually kind of a joke around here. Our family just does medical emergencies. When you said having a to-go bag, honestly, I kind of chuckled myself because my kids know how to pack a to-go bag for me. An overnight bag is what I call it, because they've had to do that so many times. But because I'm the one that usually stays in the hospital with our people, because I'm the advocate. I am kind and I'm respectful, but I am very strong when it comes to being an advocate for my patients, meaning my family that are the patients at the time. And I ask all sorts of questions and make sure that everything is being done that needs to be done. Sam, thank you. Love you. Appreciate you coming and all your videos. Anybody who watches this later who doesn't have Sam, go to her channel. She rocks. We were talking about some new stuff earlier that I found out because of her channel. So go look her up. S.A. McKinnon. Thank you, Sam, for coming. Okay, so you had your laptop stolen. That stinks. That would be such a nightmare for me. I mean, I know it's a nightmare for you too. It's just, I can't even imagine. Um, because everything, my work, my play, it's all on my laptop. Um, yes, she does. Sam has great content. Okay, and you had said you had 7 new songs on it. So you write songs as well? Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? That goes with that talent thing that I don't have. At least not musically talented. I do have talents, just not musical talents. Okay. So when you write songs like that, do you, so like after it was stolen, can you write them again? Do you know them? It's only because I'm not musical. Do you know them enough to be able to get them down again and then get them copyrighted really quickly in case they do get out there? I don't know how that works. Sorry, I've got my phone dancing all over. Oh, that would make sense. You have them on sheet paper. I'm sorry. I can only hope that I have shown myself to be a thinking person prior to this live stream because oh my word. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight, but too funny. I will just laugh at myself and keep keep moving on. Oh my gosh. Okay. So 8 weeks until um, you get your book, your instruction manual, that's what you call it, copyrighted, and then you send them to be published, and then you let us all know that it's out there and ready to go. And then, you know, you could record yourself on your phone and upload it from your phone. You wouldn't be live, but you would still be able to upload from your phone. That'd be a great way to, um, as advertisement for your book. I'm just being all sorts of help here, right? I'm sure you're like, yeah, I've thought about all this. Don't worry. I almost just doxed myself there. That's pretty funny. Yeah. All right. Well, any. Oh, there you go. Yeah, because if you do that, then we can share that on things like Twitter and Parler, because now that Great Informer has gotten me on Parler, we can share those that way, and more people will hear them and hear about them, and maybe come and buy your books. Structure manuals, what do you call them? Oh my goodness. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Okay, Robert, I can just imagine that you're just sitting there dying at this point. At least, um, at least you guys, I think, know me well enough to know that I'm just goofy. Okay, just looking at my phone, just because the chat moves faster there. All right. Well, any other thoughts? Anything else y'all want to talk about? Because obviously, I mean, you could bring up another topic that I know nothing about. This would be great because I could just sit here and um, learn more. Because obviously, oh, I'm so excited to start that Constitution class, that Hillsdale College Constitution class. I just did too, Robert. All right, Robert, I love you. Good night. I will probably shut down here shortly as well because at this point I'm just babbling. So thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Sleep well. Well, cool. All right, six string. So sounds like we have a plan. See, we have a plan, and I will um, I will look forward to sharing out your stuff when you post it. So, oh my goodness. Okay, sorry. All right. Yes, apparently I'm gonna crash as well. All night long I've been ready to crash apparently. So thank you guys for coming. The first, I don't know, like hour and a half was pretty productive, I think maybe. um, I love you guys just hanging in there and chatting with me and um, talking to me about the happenings with the um, potential eruptions and all that. So I will look into that. And again, um, love hanging out with those of you who are musically talented, and I'm looking forward to um, getting to see your stuff. Six string, that'll be awesome. So, all right, you guys have a good night, sleep well, and I will chat with you sometime, maybe soon. All right, love you guys.